McKinney, and before I start this recipe, I just want to tell everybody thank you so much for all the support. If you haven't already gone over to see my website, it's aprilmckinney.com. That's my new website. And if you would, please go like the Facebook page also. That'll just give you updates on your Facebook of new recipes that I'm creating, new videos, and just kind of everything that goes on in my crazy cooking life. So for today's recipe is a Cajun shrimp and quinoa soup. It's really easy to make. I know that I say that about everything, but that's the kind of recipes that I try to make. I try to make stuff that's easy because I want things to be easy, and I know that you guys want things to be easy because I like to cook. So this is a Cajun soup, and it's got shrimp, but you could also use chicken in it. And of course, the first thing with soup that we've got to do is chop up some vegetables. There's not too many on this one, so it's not too bad. But I'm going to do about 3/4 of a cup of celery, 3/4 of a cup of carrot, and then a cup of chopped onion, and then 2 garlic cloves. And that's all the chopping. Then we'll go to the stovetop. Okay, so celery and onions are done. Now I'm just working on these carrots and garlic. One of the things I really like about this recipe is it is a comfort food. I mean, soups and stews in the fall and winter, those are just some of my favorite things to make because you can really make them out of anything you've got in the pantry, and I kind of go a little soup crazy. But I like that it's a comfort food, but it's good for you. I mean, we're going to be adding shrimp, which is a lean protein. I've got all these veggies going in here. I'm using a chicken stock for the base of the soup, so you're not going to have any heavy creams or anything like that. So it's really healthy and good for you. Oh, and I'm adding quinoa, which has got protein and it's a whole grain. So this is just a great recipe for your family. It's great left over, and it'll be perfect for a weeknight because it comes together really quickly. Alright, garlic is done. So get this in the bowl and we will take this over to the stove top, and dinner will be ready in no time. So here we are, we got our veggies done, and I'm just gonna put maybe like a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil in here. As you can tell, I'm not extremely precise with stuff like that because really it's just until you have enough on the bottom to where you can saute some veggies, and you'll figure that out. But about a tablespoon will do it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put these in. I've got this skillet over about medium heat, and I'm just going to let these soften for probably about 6 or 7 minutes until they really get softened up. I'm going to add a pinch of salt in here, and then some fresh ground pepper. We will just let these go. You just want to stir these around occasionally, but you don't want to stir the whole time. You want them to get a little bit of golden color on. Okay, so our onions are becoming translucent and our other veggies are softening, so we're ready to go ahead and add the other ingredients. So the liquid in this soup is a chicken stock, and this is just, I'm using organic, you don't have to use that, but I always use the low sodium. That's pretty important because you want to be able to control how much salt's in the dish. And I'm just going to pour this, it's 1 quart, right into the pot. And I like the stock just because it has a stronger flavor than the broth, but if you have broth, then that would be fine. And if you're really kind of low on ingredients and you don't want to go to the store, you can use half broth and half water. It won't have quite as much flavor, but it'll still work and be fine, so you can always do that. I'm going to turn the heat up to high, and I'm going to add some fire roasted tomatoes. I love these. These are like a great ingredient to put in chilies, put in soups. I like to put it maybe if you're making like a Mexican style pasta or something like that. I love the flavor that comes from this, and it's like 85 cents or something, so a lot of bang for your buck in there. So I'm going to let this come to a boil, and then, oh, one more thing. I'm going to add in our Cajun seasoning. I'm just using a store brand Cajun seasoning. You can buy whatever kind you like. I'm using a tablespoon of that. That's going to give this all the flavor that we need. All kinds of spices are in there. So go ahead and let this come to a boil. Then we'll add in our quinoa and shrimp. So our shrimp is boiling, so we're going to go ahead and get in a half cup of quinoa that's already rinsed. Kind of stir that in. And then I'm also going to add 12 ounces of shrimp. Oh, and I cut mine up so you get a little shrimp in each bite. So I'll turn this down to a simmer and cover it up The shrimp will be cooked and the quinoa will be tender. Alright, so I'm going to get a little bowl full for myself. It smells so good, and I love that there's quinoa in this soup. It's great to have a whole grain that's also protein in the soup. But you could also use brown rice for this. You wouldn't have to use quinoa if you didn't have it. Favorite way to eat this? Get some tortilla chips, crunch them in there. If you had a little cheese, you could put some cheese on top. And that smells and looks delicious. Give it a little taste. Love, love, love the flavor. I love how the broth and the flavor in the broth seasons the shrimp as it cooks, because the shrimp actually cooks in the soup. It is so good. So, enjoy guys, thanks.